Giannis has 34 points. His Bucks trail Suns. I got the Suns winning in 4
Suns winning in 4
for the finals championship.
Who they playing against?
The Bucks.
I didn't even kill with basketball like that. So.
The Bucks.
The Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks.
Did you see that video of the guy? Suns in 4.
Yeah. I truly believe the Suns will win in 4. That's just no like meme or anything. Like I truly do believe that. But yeah, I seen that shit. That motherfucker threw down, and those are Mexican.
Yeah, bro. Those
fools got rocked.
Bro, they did. Disrespected.
That shit was funny.
That shit was funny.
Those fools got fucking hell rocked.
Suns in 4. You heard it here. All right. Welcome back to another episode of Joel's Mind. Today we got a very special guest. It's an honor and a privilege to have this guy on my show, and has a lot of great insight, a lot of wisdom on being a better version of you. And so with further ado, I'm going to introduce my best friend, Daniel Uniquesterr Lara.
Hey, what's good, everybody? I'm really happy to be here, bro. I'm very proud of you, man, for this setup. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, this is the first time I'm playing with this, and I'm like, man, this is a really legit setup, honestly. So proud of you, man. This is awesome. It's awesome, thanks. And I just want to say that your platform, it's dope, bro. Like what you bring to the table is sick. You bring some genuine quality content, and you deserve a lot more views. So I hope you get them, man.
Hey,
this is a dope platform.
I appreciate that, bro.
I see a bright future. So just keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hey, thank you. I will, man. I definitely can keep doing that, and we're shooting for the moon.
Absolutely, positively, man. You and I both, bro.
I'll be right there next to Joe Rogan, and sooner or later he'll be on my podcast.
Yes,
hopefully.
Sir. Yes, sir.
But all right, so yeah, man. Let's dive right into it.
Thank you for the Zoa, by the way, man.
Oh yeah,
for the Zoa.
Are you liking it?
It's pretty good.
Shout out to The Rock.
Shout out The Rock for sure.
Dwayne. Keeping it true out there.
Yeah, I needed some energy, and this is actually the first time I try this, so it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I do like it. I mean, you try the other flavors, but it's good. Have you seen you follow him on Instagram?
I do.
Have you seen his workout regime? Like what he's been doing?
Dude, he looks like in really good shape, man. Like he looks sub 7% body fat. And like he has that bodybuilder look when your like face is shriveled in and your cheekbones are sticking out. Like he has that small looking bodybuilding face because he's just so lean and shredded, but he's huge.
Yeah.
He's in really great shape for his age, man. He looks amazing.
Bro, he's a monster. So I'm a big fan of him. I've been following him for some time, but like he is shooting Black Adam.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, he was like his whole motivation behind that is he's trying to record a movie without having to do any hero costume, like makeup, muscle addition, like so everything is just him. It's just gonna be him in his skin with his little costume on. So
that's crazy, and he looks insane. Like I seen his most recent upload, and like his veins about to break out of his skin. He's just so, like I said, so lean, so shredded, man. And I seen the foods that he eats. Like he eats a very strict diet.
Yeah.
So I obviously know what the hell that's like, and I commend that shit, man. He's doing an awesome job, and I think his movie's gonna be sick just for that aspect alone. Even if the movie sucks, you gotta appreciate and respect the fact that what he's doing.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah, I mean he's really bringing it, man, and he's 50 some. You know what I mean? He's been excelling.
Absolutely.
I remember like looking at him now, bro. Like if he had the body and physique that he did right now, when he did back in the WWE when he first started, like he just would blow everyone out of the water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the WWE he was soft. Like he wasn't soft. Like he was obviously whooping ass. Like his physique was very soft.
Yeah.
Very fluffy.
Like he kind of had a belly.
Yeah,
right? Compared to now.
He was very fluffy and soft, and yeah.
Yeah, he's tearing it up, bro. Like at 50 years old, like I'm hoping I'm looking back and what I look right now is definitely not what I'm going to be looking like.
Honestly,
then.
I always refer back to The Rock and how the way he looks at 50 years old. I'm like, that's goals. That's goals. Now, is it all natural per se? Absolutely not. But that's just a different story. At the end of the day, the guy still takes care of his body and takes care of himself. So.
Yeah, true. I could see that being. I could definitely see that being the case with him. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean,
I don't like to compare myself too much to that at 50 years old because he's obviously taking other things that help contribute to the way how he looks nowadays. Because a 50-year-old looking like that nowadays is unless you have super godlike genetics, which he does.
Yeah.
But obviously there's got to be some other supplements.
Something. Yeah. I mean,
which is okay. Like at the end of the day, I don't care about what people take. Whatever. It helps his career. Like his body's making him money. So yeah, he absolutely. This is what he needs to do. He needs to do. And of course, obviously, he can't just come out and be like, "Oh, I'm taking this, this, and this." I mean, if you do, like, it's gonna tarnish your image.
Yeah, so. And he has like fans all over the world and all different ages. You know what I mean? So like, I could see him being like, "What kind of look am I giving to these kids out there?" You know, like, respectfully so. But I mean, I wonder if you'll ever talk about it someday. You know what I mean?
I hope he does, man. Like that. Yeah, I hope he does. I think it's very necessary. Mm-hmm. Rather than just being like, I work really, really hard to achieve this body. So I really do hope he comes out with it in a way that he still comes off professional and he doesn't let his fans down.
Yeah, so. Yeah, definitely. Well, shout out to The Rock.
I still rock with him, man. He's dope. He's awesome. He's a huge motivation, and I absolutely love his movies, and I obviously love his WWE career, man. I'm a huge fan of his WWE career. Like, I fuck with the WWE, especially back in the day.
When did you watch when he?
I didn't watch a whole lot of it when he was like actually like in his prime in the WWE. Yeah. But I like seeing all the highlights and stuff, and like even when I would skim through the channels and I'd see him, like it was just you can just tell like he had all the swag, like the WWE. He pulled all the weight for the WWE. It was all him and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, him and Stone Cold. They had the sickest rivalry out there.
Yeah. They pulled all the weight for the WWE during. I should say WWF.
WWF. Yeah. That'd be right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was you can just tell, you know. And looking back at their highlights, it's just like
it's crazy. I've like the more that I've seen about him, like when he first started off, he didn't like the relationship he has with his audience and the fans in the WWE, WWF. It first started off them not liking him, and he talks about how he didn't like his persona because he basically had to follow the chain of command, and they first named him Rocky Montevera or something like that. And the reason why they did that was because Rocky, his dad was named Rocky, and then his grandfather his name was Montevera or something like that. I don't know pronouncing it right. But anyway, so they basically combined them two to make Rock, and he didn't like it. He said the fans booed him all the time. He didn't like the energy. He's like, it was very discouraging. He's like, the people didn't like me, and he's like, and I didn't like me either because I wasn't being me. And then he came out with the persona, The Rock, and he talks about it, how he basically looked at everyone. He's like, I remember it. He's like, I was getting booed, and he's like, I remember I looked the fans in the eyes, and I told them like, no. Or they're saying you suck, and he's like, he basically just said he's like you're not gonna say I suck anymore, and he's like, and then he came out with The Rock, and then everyone fell in love with him after that, and he's like, I wanted to be myself, and he talks about how the fans fell in love with him because he finally was being himself, and I believe it because dude, he steamrolled through the WWF, the WWE as a champion, as the highlight, the entertainment. What I was going to ask you was, did you watch when he, at WrestleMania, when he went up against John Cena?
I mean, I didn't pay for that at WrestleMania, but I saw the highlights for sure. Yeah, I was watching at the time. Yeah, damn right. That was sick.
Yeah, so it's crazy because I'd seen a video recently about how John, like that feud between him and John Cena was like, it wasn't, all of it wasn't scripted. Like, it was actually real, and John Cena was speaking at like some event, and he was talking about how he was really upset with The Rock because he was leaving the WWE to pursue his acting career. And he talks about how John Cena was like, he's like, I was being selfish. He was like, I was looking at my Rock. He's like, I didn't want my Rock to leave the WWE universe to go pursue other things. Which honestly made a really good fucking feud between the two. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I didn't know that was going on. I just knew like they were talking smack a lot. And I know one of the things The Rock had dissed John Cena on was like, you wish you could be me. Like, you wish you could do what I'm doing. And that, I mean, back then, John Cena was doing movies too. And he was also the face of the WWE at the time. So seeing those two guys battle it out, dude,
That
it
was
was pretty.
sick.
It was pretty dope.
It was a battle. I mean, John Cena was like the modern day Rock. No disrespect to the Rock. I still think the Rock was still bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
But John Cena was the modern day Rock.
Yeah, he definitely.
And then
was.
The Rock actually comes in, steps in. You're like, holy shit! It's this clash of two titans. And
yeah,
you're like,
really.
damn, this is about to be sick. And it was sick.
And it was, bro. It was cool, man. I enjoyed it. I was wet watching it. You know what I mean? I love John Cena too. Like growing up watching him when he came in as the chain gang and everything, hustle, loyalty, and respect. I was all for it, bro. And, you know, like, I mean, he turned into what he is now, which I'm not sure where he's at in the WWE. I don't think he's even in the WWE anymore. I mean, I'm sure he's going to do what The Rock did and come back, you know, at some point and get everyone back into it. But, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I don't know if it was the first time because they wrestled twice at WrestleMania, the back-to-back. I just don't remember which ones. But, one of the those matches, The Rock tore one of his, like, I think it was his kneecap or something in his leg. He tore it, dude. And there's like I mean, everything is to some degree staged, you know. And so like they have a code word that allows them to basically just tap out. Like if there's something wrong, if someone's injured, like they basically throw up a sign and then they stop the match. And that's one of the things The Rock talks about is how he had a choice. You know, either he's like, and they had 45 minutes left in that whole match. So he's like, do I stick it out and give the fans what they want and just, you know, battle it out, you know, last till 45 minutes, or do I, you know, give up the signal and tap out?
Right.
And so, and you know, he chose the latter. He ended up being in there for 45 minutes with a torn leg or torn.
Insane, man.
Yeah, dude. You know, so like it. Yeah, that's why I got a lot of respect for him. You know what I mean?
The people's champ right there, man.
He is, man.
Champ.
And so, yeah, it was cool, man. Shout out to the WWE Universe for doing that. You know, I wonder how much Mr. McMahon is part of that. Like, I know he's like the CEO in terms of the public eye, but I wonder how much he really is the CEO. You know what I mean? Or if he's playing his part.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know, but he's a CEO. I'm pretty sure he's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing for real.
Pretty sure he's doing well running the whole entertainment. I mean that shit has not stopped even with the pandemic.
No,
that shit has not skipped a beat.
It's funny. I was watching SmackDown like last month, and yeah, everything's the same. The moves are the same.
Everything's the same.
People are different, but the moves are the same, and it's funny, but it's also like I already know what's gonna happen next. You know. But
of course,
you know, one day, you know, I'm sure when I ever have blessed with some children, it'd be cool
for them to grow up with that. Yeah, hopefully the wrestlers are cool. They're not some dweebs.
Yeah, huh? Like I think that whole attitude, or that whole era with like The Rock, Stone Cold,
sick, man.
That's
like, iconic.
They call it the Attitude Era.
Right.
That's where everyone was a bad motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Right.
Stone Cold was drinking beer on the ropes. You know, JBL was coming out talking shit. Like, you know, Eddie Guerrero was out here, you know.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. You know, I lie, I chill. Like, dude, there was a lot of attitude in that area, like that in that era. Like, you know, I think it definitely influenced, I think, the culture during that time. And yeah, nowadays it's, you know, it's not the same.
No, not at all. But
these poor kids, they don't know what greatness is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the WWE world.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, no, man. But like I said, hopefully the wrestlers are cool later in the future.
I don't even know who the WWE champ is right now.
No, I don't really pay a lot of attention anymore.
Yeah, nah, not at all.
Yeah. I know Randy Orton's still wrestling, so he's still wrestling.
But
I mean, the Legend Killer, Mr. RKO himself. But that's about all I know. And I think Edges too. It's like, well, shit.
Oh,
man,
yeah,
what the hell these guys are savages.
He came back, huh?
Yeah, these guys are some savages.
Did you ever watch TNA Impact? You ever heard
I did hear of TNA. That's where Kurt Angle was bouncing back and forth from.
Yeah. Which their ring was cool. Their ring was like an octagon. It almost looked like the UFC arena, you know what I mean, but with ropes.
Right.
And TNA Impact was pretty dope. They had what's his name? It was like Joe Samo or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty cool. Sting was on there. I don't know if you ever remember Sting.
I do.
But Sting was on TNA Impact, and there was a couple other like legendary dudes on there. AJ Styles, I think Booker T went back on TNA. He showed up on TNA and But I think he's back. I mean, last time I was watching it, he was back on the WWE. So it's interesting to see all these wrestler communities, like different television shows, like how like you think they're gone, but they're just working somewhere else.
Right. Absolutely.
But speaking of hard work, dedication,
man, that was a tangent. I digress. We digress.
Yeah, we do.
Damn.
So, recently, man, you competed in your first show. You took, the last 10 years of hard work, dedication. You stepped on the stage for the very first time. Please let us know how that experience was for you.
So, yeah, I mean, I've been training since, for like about 10 plus years now. I started training my sophomore year of high school through sports. Now, that's when I started training. That's when I started picking up, like, legit picking up weights. Like, I picked up my first weight when I bench pressed for the first time when I was a 10th grader.
Oh, yeah.
And I was super insecure about the gym, super insecure about my image. I was a scrawny little 6'1". I was 6'1" still. Like, I've been 6'1" since.
What sports did you play?
I played basketball and I ran track. And I was too insecure about playing football because I was too scrawny because I thought that I would get murdered out there.
You'd be surprised, man.
I know. That's the thing. I
mean, like, you'd be surprised. You probably wouldn't, but yeah.
The thing is, I joined late in my senior year, and I just didn't feel like it was my thing anymore. Yeah. I was just too late at that point. But I never joined because I was insecure about myself, my body. I felt like I would have snapped in half, to be honest. Because it's crazy. If you see an old picture of me, before I started lifting, I was super skinny, man. I was a twig.
I can contest to that. I've seen that photo.
Yeah, I was damn near a twig, man. And I remember
watching this on YouTube. These microphone holders. That's as thick as Daniel was.
Honestly, man, it was crazy. And people would always let me know, like, damn, man, you're skinny. Do you eat? And I'd be like, I don't know. I'd be insecure about that, you know? Anyways, I'd always walk by the gym, and I'd hear loud music, and I'd hear weights clanging and banging and people shouting, screaming, lifting heavy weight. And I'm just like, damn, that's too much for me, you know? I was super anxious about setting foot in a gym. Until I finally did it through basketball. You know, we had to record our max like bench, our max squat, our max deadlift. So I actually had to do it, and that kind of I guess gave me a gateway towards lifting. It wasn't until after basketball season when I really started going in there, just wanting to go in there and actually build some freaking muscle. And that's when that started happening. Then my junior year came around. That's when I started getting stronger. Significantly stronger than my past years, and that's when I started falling in love with just gaining strength. It wasn't necessarily building muscle, but just gaining strength. I wanted to get stronger. I wanted to get bigger. I was falling in love with it, man. Then so I kept training junior year, did more basketball, kept training senior year, and then after high school was when I was done with sports. So that's when I had nothing else to fall back on other than training. Like, the gym was still always there. Sports weren't there anymore, but the gym was. So I just kept training all the way through college. Right, we went to the same school. That's where we fucking met,
Yeah,
so
shout out Wildcats.
Yeah, Central Washington University. So I kept training the entire 5 years that we were there. It was class, it was gym, it was the last 2-3 years of my college career was work. So it was just work, gym, class. And I just kept up with it. Now, it wasn't until after college, though, that I really started taking nutrition seriously. Because up until before that point, I would just go in the gym. I do a bro split. For those that don't know what a bro split is, I do chest on Monday. I do back on Tuesday. I do legs on Wednesday. Basically, just hit each muscle group or just one muscle group once a week. Nowadays, it's more structured towards hitting each muscle group twice a week. I'm in there 6 days a week, but I can also do a 5-day split and still hit each muscle group twice a week. I just always make sure that I hit each muscle group twice a week nowadays versus me only hitting it once a week. But anyways, back then, like I said, it was just a bro split. I just made sure I hit protein. I got my protein in. I'd eat a lot of chicken, not knowing how much chicken I'm consuming. I just remember consuming a lot of chicken. I remember consuming a lot of protein shakes, just getting my protein in, eating whatever, probably eating in a huge surplus. I gained excess body fat through that. And I did that all through college. I put on a lot of weight. I put on a lot of strength. I put on a lot of size, which was great. But I never got the ultimate physique or look that I was actually, shooting for. Yeah. So it wasn't until after college that I really started picking up on diet and nutrition and training. doing all that stuff, and kind of just learning it like the back of my hand, pretty much. Got me up to this point. And then, so yeah, I've been dieting and training properly now for the past 3.5 years since I started learning. So I've been, that's what I've seen the most significant change in my physique and my progress and everything, right? And so it wasn't until last December, so we're in June now. It wasn't until December of 2020 that I'm like, hell, you know what, man? I've been training like a bodybuilder. I've been counting my calories and protein intake and measuring my food like a bodybuilder. Why not just compete? Why not, I also had a great looking physique. I'd look at myself in the mirror and I'd be like, damn, I'm pretty big. Like, holy crap. Like, and I'd hit some poses here and there. And I'm like, I wonder what it'd be like for me to get shredded to the bone and display my physique that way, in front of some judges. And so once I set my mind that like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go through prep. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to compete. In 2021, I'm competing. Once I set my mind to that, my mind just tapped in. It just tapped in. It was set. Once I set like a goal for myself, I get after it. I'm tunnel vision straight towards it. And that's exactly what happened when I made that decision to want to bodybuild or do a bodybuilding show in 2021. So as soon as that happened, it was a wrap, man. Yeah. It was a wrap. I started training even harder. Not to say I don't train hard, but I started training even harder. Every rep counted even more than before. Yeah. Like every rep was towards that one goal to set foot on stage. Well, anyways, I started actually prepping for my first show in January, and it was a 6-month prep before my first show, which was, that's a long time.
That is a long time. That's a half a year.
That's a whole last half year. I almost forgot what not being on prep felt like, honestly, because it was so damn long. Yeah, it was a long time. It was my first prep. It was long as hell. It was grueling, man. It was fucking hard. One of the most challenging things I've ever done was in prep. But the funny thing is, though, I knew it was gonna be difficult. Like, I knew it was gonna be challenging. I knew that when I first set my mind to it, like, this is going to be hard, this is going to be difficult. I understood. I saw it through other people and through what they've told me, through their experience. I kind of just took that, and I knew what prep was like through reputation, through their reputation, through what I learned through what they told me. Yeah. However, I never experienced it myself, but I had that little sort of preparation for it already. Yeah. But, man, it was exactly everything what they told me and more. Yeah. Like, if you are not prepared to go through prep and you want to just one day get up and do a show, raise your expectations in terms of how difficult it's going to be. Think of how difficult you think it's going to be, then raise that expectation. That's how difficult it is. And so, yeah, man, I went through my first prep. It was super difficult. At one point, I remember I was 9 weeks out from my show, and I remember coming home super tired. I'm in a calorie deficit the entire time, right? So when you're in a calorie deficit, you slowly lose body fat. The more body fat you lose, the less energy your body has to rely on to train, to do your daily activities, to do everything, right? So the longer you're in a calorie deficit, the more body fat you burn. And like I said, I was 9 weeks out. I came home from the gym. It was also I usually always go straight from work to the gym. I train, do my things, then come home, shower, then I eat dinner. Right. Yeah. So I remember coming home that day, 9 weeks out, and I jumped in the shower, and I remember being super tired and super hungry, to the point where I got in my own head. I got in my own head, and I was like, how the hell am I feeling this tired and this hungry 9 weeks out? Like, I still had 9 weeks of this shit. Yeah. And so I remember just like leaning on the shower wall while the water's hitting me, tired, trying to catch my breath, and thinking like, can I do this? Can I pull this off? Like, I got a coach. I've told some of my good friends that I'm doing this. Some friends that I've already competed in. I've told you guys, my friends, that I'm gonna do this. Yeah. I've told some other good friends of mine that also compete. Yeah, I told them that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm ready for it. They gave word about their coach, and I got their coach. I recruited their coach, which shout out to my coach Cliff, man. He's awesome. He did an awesome job, by the way, man. We brought a fucking sick package to that stage, and he did a really good job getting to know my physique and really just setting me up for that debut, man. He did an awesome job. Looking forward to working with him again. But anyways, back to the story. I remember being 9 weeks out, super tired, and I'm like, can I do this? And it was tough because I've already put pressure on myself. So I was battling back and forth. Like, if I quit, I let a lot of people down. I let my coach down. He's going to be exactly right when he says a lot of people recruit me but then give up because they don't really realize how hard this is. So I was battling this constant thing, like, if I quit, I'm going to be a failure. I'm not going to be successful. And I usually always pride myself in setting a goal and getting after it, like I said earlier, right? Yeah. And I was not going to let this one goal bring me down. I was not going to give up. Like, I've almost never given up on any goal, if not ever. So I wasn't going to let this bring me down. But at the same time, I'm also fighting this feeling of fatigue, this feeling of hunger, right? And so this entire time, I'm building up a lot of anxiety. I'm stressing myself out. Anyways, I end up showering, and it's usually always, and this isn't the first time I felt like this. I feel like this a couple times, but it's usually always, I usually always make dinner, I eat it, and while I'm eating dinner, I watch anime. That always makes me feel good. Like, after the dinner and after watching anime, I feel good. I'm ready to go to bed, crash out, boom, done. But this time, as I was eating dinner, I couldn't get it off my mind. As I was watching anime, I couldn't focus on the anime in front of me. Which, by the way, I was watching Hunter x Hunter. So shout out to that. That shit's fire. Yeah. That shit's fire.
It's a good episode. It's a good anime.
Yeah, it's a good anime. It's a great anime. I fell in love with it. But I couldn't focus on the episode in front of me as I was eating and everything. And
this was just one day. This
is just one day. This is just that same night. This is that same night that I came home, 9 weeks out, tired, all that. Okay. This is that same night. So I finish my dinner, right? I get up, I start washing the dishes, and I'm still thinking about this. Like, damn, can I do this? Can I pull this off? And at this point, I'm no longer hungry because I just fed myself, but I'm still tired. I'm still kind of tired. But at this point, my anxiety has caught up to me. I felt light on my feet. I felt super stressed out to the point where I could feel the stress. Like, I could feel it in my head. Like, this shit, that's how stressed I was. And I'm like, shit, dude, I need to do something about this. And then what I ended up doing was I ended up going to my room. And I'm a firm believer and a huge advocate for meditation. Meditation, inhaling, exhaling.
Does wonders, I tell you what.
Absolutely, positively, man, because this is crazy right here. What I'm about to say is crazy. I sat down on my desk chair, practically shaking, man. Like, I remember my hands practically shaking. I was damn near having a panic attack at this point. Yeah. Right? And I remember sitting down and opening up my Headspace app, because that's the app that I use for guided meditation. And I started doing guided meditation. I did it for 30 minutes or so, really starting to get into it. And as I started getting more and more into it, I turned off the guided meditation and I put on my own meditation music, which I listen to meditation music on the regular, Yeah. It chills me out. I love it. I really like just listening to it. Anyways, I put on my own meditation music, and it was a very wavy meditation, I guess, song that I put on. I don't know, meditation sound that I put on. Very wavy. And I continued to meditate without the guided meditation anymore. And at this point, I was fully locked into my meditation. Like, I didn't want to stop meditating. I felt at peace at this point. Yeah. So at this point, when I'm listening to the meditation and the wavy sounds and I'm breathing in and out, I feel at peace the entire time. And this time, though, as I'm listening to the sounds, it's gonna sound crazy, but this is legit. As I'm breathing in, my breathing, it feels like it's one with the waves. So as I'm breathing in, I feel wavy, but a good type of wavy. As I breathe out, I feel a good type of wavy. I'm like one with the actual synthesizing sound that I'm listening to. That's crazy. I remember just being completely at peace. My body was still, my breathing was still. All I can think about was just me and my breathing. Like, whatever was bothering me was no longer bothering me. And I remember at this time, I was also smiling from ear to ear, legit. As I had my eyes closed, like this entire time I had my eyes closed. Yeah. And I'm just breathing in and out, practicing meditation, right? And I'm smiling. I felt at peace. And I remember the only thing that was stuck in my head this entire time now was butterflies. And the wings on the butterflies were changing colors, like a chameleon, kind of. Like, they were changing to vibrant colors, like back and forth, like a chameleon would. But they was just their wings.
So, like, you were seeing this, or you?
I was seeing this in my head as I'm meditating.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm just. It was a very peaceful moment. I'm seeing grass waving and stuff, and these butterflies, and I remember I'm like, holy crap, like, and I was smiling again, like I said, I was smiling this whole time.
Yeah.
And then I finally was done with meditating. I was done. And keep in mind, when I sat down, I was damn near shaking. My hands were shaking. Like, I was that anxious. By the time I caught up, so I opened my eyes. I look at my hands, perfectly still. They're good.
Okay.
They're perfectly still.
That's fucking crazy.
I get up, and I look around my room, and I'm like,
boner.
What just happened? I'm like, all I know was whatever was worrying me is no longer worrying me. And how I describe it is I transcended.
Yeah, that sounds like a transcension.
That I transcended completely. And basically the way I look at it is I was in this very stressed out position before the meditation.
Yeah.
I went into a deep meditation, and what happened was I transcended, right? But I also built this freaking wall, whatever, and I am now existing on the other end of that wall.
Okay.
And so whatever was bothering me, I built some kind of wall that is very unbreakable. Whatever was bothering me is not going to be able to break through this wall, because I know that what I just experienced, I'm able to do that and always fall back to that through meditation.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, at the end, to sum this all up, I was no longer feeling anxious. I went back. I finished washing dishes. I felt great. I sat down, watched anime. I was able to enjoy the episode. I felt great. Nothing could bother me at this point anymore. Hunger, I felt a little bit of hunger towards the end of that night. It didn't bother me. I felt at peace.
Yeah.
And then ever since that day, 9 weeks out, never did I feel like that again.
Okay.
I never felt like that again. The way I felt when I was describing everything, this whole thing, this whole trauma, I didn't feel like that ever again. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean shit got easier. Like, it continued to get hard. Prep continued to get hard. Like, as you near closer to the show and your calories drop and your energy continues to drop even more, you start to become more and more shitty. You know, you look amazing. You look great. You look sick, shredded to the bone.
Yeah, you look good.
You look like an anatomy chart, which is sick. You know, to a lot of people, that's not cool, but that's what the judges want to see on stage.
Yeah.
You know, so it gets harder and harder, but never again did I fall back to that, because, I don't know, like I said, I built some kind of wall that I never let these demons enter anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird, man. And
that's
always,
super powerful.
Yeah, I always remembered, and I kept on, using this technique, because I always preached to myself, like, at the end of the day, man, like, what I was going through that day was my mind. Like, literally, it was all in my head.
Yeah.
And the mind is so freaking powerful if you allow it to control yourself. Allow it to control you. And one of the things I always preach about is I want to master my own mind. I want to become a Jedi of my own mind. And I know that tapping into that kind of transcension, or whatever you want to call it, and practicing, meditation and mastering these skills is going to allow that. I'm going to be able to master my own mind. So I always practice meditation, and I continue to do so to this day. It helps me with my anxiety, with my stress, with all that stuff, man. So it's cool. And anyways, yeah, man, my first prep experience, it went a little something like that.
Something like that.
It didn't get easier, down the road, but I never again felt like that.
Yeah.
Ever since that day. And yeah, man, went through my peak week, which peak week is the final week before stepping on stage. It's when you pull all the fun foods, because I am a very flexible dieter. Even when I'm dieting, I make sure I stay within my calorie deficit, right? Obviously stick to the plan that my coach gave me. But the foods that I eat are very fun. They're very delicious. They're high in protein, low in calorie, all that good stuff. Obviously, I got shredded to the bone off that. But peak week is when you pull all that fun stuff. You pull all the artificial sugars. You pull all the protein bars. You pull the low-calorie wraps. And you just go strictly old-school bodybuilding, chicken and rice, potatoes, oats, stuff like that. But I went through the peak week.
Salt, you take salt in there, or is it...
Salt is manipulated as well, so I monitor my salt, how much salt I'm taking. I'm literally taking a teaspoon of salt and putting it in a bag, and I'm using it freely over the day from that bag to stay within that 1 teaspoon of salt, to make sure that I'm not eating more than just that amount of sodium for the day. And I'm also monitoring my water intake, all that stuff. So anyways, we got
that sounds very tedious. Like
it is, man. But at this point, you're 1 week out from the show. You're way too excited for it to suck. And it's at that point, it's like, this is very temporary. Like, I'm almost done. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel at this point. Like, this is all very temporary. And it's just exciting. The overall excitement takes over at this point.
Yeah.
So even though peak week sucks, it's super exciting. It's super fun because you're 1 week away. You look crazy at this point.
Yeah.
You're, like, finally just capitalizing on your physique. And then actual show day is when it's super fun. Because that's when you start bringing in the chocolate and you start carbing up. Depending on your body, start carbing up, a couple of days prior, whatever. And the carb up is fun. Mm-hmm. You get introduced all these carbs back into your day. And again, like I said, show day, you start eating chocolates and stuff. And to the point where it's almost disgusting, honestly. Yeah. You eat chocolates and stuff. But that's for the pump and all that. But there's a whole science that goes to it. I'm not the expert when it comes to peak week. That's why I had my coach help me through it, and he did an awesome job peaking me for both my shows. So that was dope.
That's awesome. So to recap, like, so you started your body, you started in the gym when you were a sophomore, junior in high school. Something you learned how to, kind of overcome the fears of being in the gym, getting bigger. Yeah. College came around, and I mean, we did go to college, so I did see how much bigger you got, and you gotten huge, like, compared to when I met you, our freshman year, to when we were, when we graduated. Yeah, you definitely stacked on a lot of good size, and so you went from there to
very intuitively too. Like I said, I just lifted heavy, lifted hard, and ate like a madman.
I remember you having conversations with friends of ours, just eat big, get big, eat big.
Yeah.
And I remember those conversations. So you went from, going from that to going into the gym, being more strategic, with your workouts, with your calories,
my diet, nutrition,
your diet, and then 2020 sounded like came around, and you wanted to challenge yourself to join a bodybuilding competition. And throughout that time, you definitely obviously went through an amazing transformation with your body and your physique, and definitely mentally. It sounds like the story you shared, you transcended, which is
absolutely,
and without any, sounds like no hallucinants or any substances or anything like that.
Straight meditation.
That's awesome. So
I abstained from anything that I was drug free, no weed, no alcohol, nothing for the whole prep.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's what, 6 months?
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's good. And so you come to peak week, you do what you got to do for peak week, and comes, time to step on stage. How was that? How was going through this grueling process, of the 6 months, and I mean everything up before that, when you stepped on the stage, how did that feel? Seeing the crowd, seeing the lights,
it felt
being in your your form.
It felt amazing, man. If I just remember, well, at the time I was also kind of nervous. I was all tanned. My first show was in a little Speedo because it was a bodybuilding show, you know? And I wasn't even I wasn't nervous about stepping out on a freaking Speedo or anything. I was more so nervous about hitting these freaking poses for bodybuilding because I just learned them weeks prior to stepping on stage. There's 11 mandatory poses that you have to learn before stepping on stage for a bodybuilding show, and I literally just learned these 4 weeks prior or 5 weeks prior, and that's when I started actually practicing them. And they needed a lot of tweaking. They weren't the greatest on stage, and that's probably why I got the placing that I got, because I needed a lot of tweaking on my posing. But yeah, I was more so nervous about hitting them on stage and holding them. That's another huge thing, is holding these positions for a long time and not and holding them in a way where you look comfortable on stage, not in a way where you look tired. You have to hit these poses, and you have to look like you know what the hell you're doing without looking tired on stage. And that was something that I was like, oh crap, man, can I do this? Can I do this? And I was able to do it, and it was a long time on stage for the first time, but at the same time it felt short because it was so fun. I had a blast. It was so freaking fun, man. And seeing all these other competitors up there doing what I was doing, knowing what they went through, a lot of them went through the same thing as me. It was cool, man. It was humbling, and I had a blast.
Yeah, there's no surprise. I was there, out there in the crowd, man, and seeing you up there, you look good. Like, I'm not a judge, I've never been to a bodybuilding show. This was the first time I ever gone to a bodybuilding show, and I mean, your physique compared to the other gentlemen up there, I definitely you were well rounded. I mean, there's definitely other competitors, that they were bigger in certain areas of their body, but that was their main feature. Whereas when I seen you on there, like your abs were there, your biceps were there, your chest was there, you know, your hamstrings, your glutes, everything was there. And so, I mean, yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you for doing that, because seeing you I do remember you freshman year. I do remember the photos of when you were in high school, man. You know, so seeing you, like, being able to witness what you took in your body and grow and build on it, and your willingness to learn, like, I think that's where we fall short, and a lot of people, you know, like, you're resourceful, you're willing to ask questions, you're willing to look yourself in the, you know, and be like, you know, hey, I need help. And it's not like a pride thing or an ego thing. Like, you could have definitely done everything by yourself if you really wanted to. You've been in this game for a long time, you know, where you've helped me, you helped Lupita, you taught us a few things, and more than just us. So, I mean, you really could have just won it on your own, but you willing to get a coach, like, that speaks volumes. And I don't think a lot of people understand that sometimes that's needed, not because you're, you know, not because you're less than, but because it's just gonna better you in the future. And you know what I mean? And so I'm proud of you, man. Like,
thank you.
It was cool. It was cool seeing you up there. It was fun. I mean, I disagree with the judges, you know what I mean, in some of the places. But you know, we're here, baby. You know, you did what you got to do, and you know, everything at this end of the day, it's XP. You know what I mean?
Experience, man. And what I tell myself is, you know, first of all, going back to you know, being on stage with these other competitors. Stacked competitors, by the way. It was a stacked class, man. They were good. They brought it. They definitely brought it, man. But going back to that, I was definitely one of the leanest on that stage, if not the most shredded on that stage. Agree. And that's what I think that's what you're trying to get at by you had everything there, because everything was visible.
Yes, it was.
My back was fully shredded. You know, my abs were shredded. Glutes were shredded. Hamstrings were shredded, right? The only thing that sucks, again, is just I didn't practice how to present my physique enough as much as I should have. I think if I really learned how to present my physique the way these guys, obviously they knew a lot more about how to pose and present their own physiques. If I maybe took some more time to learn about that, I would have gotten a better placing. But you know, and no disrespect to those guys were amazing. They looked great. They're amazing. It was an honor sharing the stage with these gentlemen, and it was fun, like I said. And then going back to, you know, recruiting Cliff, my coach, even with all this knowledge that I had about diet, nutrition, cutting, like, I knew what I had to do already. The problem is, had I done this on my own, I have this tendency of being too hard on myself. And I needed that outside perspective, not only just that outside perspective, but that outside perspective with tons of experience. I mean, Cliff's accolades speak for themselves. Like, dude has a bunch of pro cards under his name, championships under his name. He has it all. I needed that experience, right? Doing my first bodybuilding show. Who am I to just step in here and be like, I could do this all on my own. Watch me. Or learn from all these other people's mistakes through his experience and get his outside perspective and have him tell me, hey, we're doing good. We're on track. Let's keep the calories like this. Let's keep the calories like this. All right, you're looking, we're right on track. Or you know what? Hey, I think we need to drop the calories here and there. This is what we need to do with your cardio, this and that. Because had it been me, man, I would have started doing cardio, I don't know, 10 weeks out. And with Cliff, I never did cardio. It's crazy. I never did cardio. Not a single day.
That's insane to say,
Yeah, and
you wouldn't have known.
I wouldn't have known.
How would you have known?
I would have started. No, I wouldn't have, and I would have started doing. If it was me, because like I said, this wasn't the first time I've cut. I've cut on my own. But I never got to this physique that I got to on my own. Mainly because I don't know why, but I always, when I used to cut on my own, I do a lot of cardio.
It makes sense. I mean, textbook.
Yeah, cardio. Burn calories, burn fat, right? And it wasn't any kind of intense cardio neither. Well, I would never run. It'd just be walking, you know. And if it was me on myself, I would have done cardio a long time ago. I would have done a lot of cardio. Towards the end of approaching the show, I probably would have been doing an hour of cardio every single day at that point. But you know, with Cliff, he knew what the hell he was doing. He saw my physique. He knew exactly how to adjust the macros, how to adjust the cardio when he needed to. So yeah, man, that's the kind of experience and secondhand perspective that I needed.
Dude, that's awesome. You know, and that, again, you know, I commend you for doing that, because I know, you know, it costs money to get a bodybuilding coach.
Expensive, man. By the way, bodybuilding is expensive. expensive as a motherfucker. God damn.
I wasn't in the show and it was expensive for us. No, I'm just kidding, but
expensive, man.
Yeah, so your willingness to do that, man, it really set you forth on the right path. So based on this experience and based on what you've gotten you here, when is your next show gonna be? Are you gonna do a next show?
Absolutely. Like I said, I loved competing. I loved bodybuilding. I love men's physique. Men's physique was my second show, which is the board shorts competition.
Okay.
And I love that show as well. That was actually an NPC show. So the first show I did was a natural show. I got tested and everything for drugs. I passed because I was able to compete. And then that second show was a non-tested show. So this one they don't test people.
Okay.
And you can clearly tell that some people are on the juice out there, which again, it's part of the sport at this point. Like it's nothing to look down upon. Like it's at this point, those supplemental drugs is just part of the sport. But anyways, I digress about that. This second show was against, it was an NPC show just like that, untested. And I actually stacked up against 4th place against 11 people, which is something I was very proud of. But at the same time, yeah, absolutely. I was very proud of that placing. I know Cliff was like, don't worry, man, one day we'll get recognized. But little did he know, I was actually really happy with that placing, man. Shout out to Cliff, man. He's awesome. But so
in this first competition, you competed, it was on natural. The second competition, it was against guys that may or may not be on juice. And it was 11 of them.
In my class, yes.
In your class. And you just took, that was a week before you had that. You had the natural bodybuilding the weekend before you had the board shorts show. Yeah.
So they're literally 7 days apart, these two shows.
So you literally, obviously, you got tested. Obviously you weren't, juicing or on any type of thing. And out of 11 guys, you took 4th place. That's pretty awesome. Like that's very commendable. So I understand. Yeah, definitely. I would be happy with that, and I'm happy for you because this is your first show on both. Both boards, all natural and the NPC show. Yeah. So
now I will say though, I did feel a lot more natural at the men's physique show because I practiced these poses when I first started my prep. Back in when I first decided I wanted to do prep in December or a bodybuilding show in December, my first initial show was a men's physique show. I never had bodybuilding in mind, had bodybuilding in mind. It wasn't until about maybe 10 weeks into prep when I'm like, screw it, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show.
Yeah.
And that's when I had to learn all these bodybuilding poses, right?
Yeah.
Even though I freaking slacked and didn't start learning and practicing until like 5 weeks out. But anyways, up until I decided to do bodybuilding in December, that's when I started practicing for men's physique. And that's why I felt a lot more natural on the men's physique stage, knowing how to hit these poses and present my physique the way it needs to be presented on a men's physique stage, hitting these fluid transitions, all that stuff. It just felt a lot more natural. I felt great. I felt awesome, and I had a freaking blast. And I told myself, I'm like, now that I've experienced both bodybuilding and men's physique, I get to focus on what I want to pursue. And I want to pursue both. Like, I want to keep doing both. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But anyways, to go back to your question, I'm going to give myself 2 to 3 years of building solid muscle before doing this again.
Yeah.
Because as a natural, building muscle is a very patient process. Overall, just building muscle is a very patient process, whether you're natural or not. It's just that when you are on supplements, you tend to put on muscle faster over the period of 1 year.
Like protein?
Like PEDs.
Oh, okay.
Like PPDs, yeah, so PEDs. You tend to put on muscle a lot faster versus a natural bodybuilder, which, by the way, like I said, man, I've been doing this for about 10 years. And like I said, the past 3.5 years have been more structured. But anyways, as a natural bodybuilder, giving myself 2 to 3 years will be just the right amount of time to put on, I'm hoping, at least 4 to 5 pounds of solid, lean muscle tissue.
Wow. 2 to 3 years, 4 to 5 pounds?
4 to 5 pounds. That's what I'm hoping. That's obviously going to take consistent training, hitting each muscle group twice a week, training hard, not half-assing my sets, really focusing on my nutrition, my calories, eating in a slight surplus or maintenance the whole time, just, constantly building muscle this entire time. With flexibility, of course. Like, at the end of the day, I'm a human being, Bodybuilding isn't everything to me. Like, I have all these other things as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I have my friends. I have my family. Like I said, I'm a human. I like to eat food. I love food. I love food, man. I love to indulge in any kind of cuisine. Yeah, I'm a bottomless pit, man. I can eat for days.
It's funny when you said, when people would ask you if you eat, teasing you back in the day, like, you eat, man. You eat.
I eat a lot.
Yeah.
I eat a lot. So,
Even back then, like you're eating a lot.
I can eat, man. I can eat a lot. So like, I'm proud of myself for being able to go through prep, man. Like, think about it. Like, for someone that eats so freaking much, having to restrict that shit, is not easy.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah, but like I said, man, I set my mind to it. I had a goal, and it was something I wanted it bad, man. I wanted it bad. And when you want something that bad, it's easy. Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy. But yeah,
it makes it worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like Eric Thomas says, if you want it as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
Yeah, you'll be successful, man. So. And that's how bad I wanted it, man. And yeah, I got the experience this time around. 2 to 3 years from now, I see myself doing it again. And this next time around, I want obviously more experience, but also I want to make a splash.
Yeah,
I want to make a splash. So.
Well, I'm gonna be with you every step of the way, as you already know.
Appreciate you, bro.
You know what
man.
I mean? So it's gonna be cool. One thing you talk about and I want to touch on is you talked about calorie deficit and calorie surplus. Can you explain that?
Calorie deficit, calorie surplus. Yeah, man. So there's a calorie deficit. At the end of the day, calorie deficit, you lose weight, you burn fat, right? And a calorie surplus, you gain weight, you put on excess fat. So and then there's a third one, maintenance calories. That's what you eat. That's the amount of calories that your body needs to maintain its weight. Right, so anytime you're in a calorie deficit, you're cutting. So you're shredding, whatever when people call it cutting, shredding, trying to lose weight. At the end of the day, in order to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. That's it. If you want to maintain your weight, you need to eat at maintenance calories. Also, if you want to recomposition your body, which means when you lose fat and build muscle simultaneously at the same time, that's called body recomposition. It's a thing of beauty when you do it perfectly because you actually transform your body, but the weight on the scale doesn't fluctuate the way losing weight would. Like if your goal is like, oh, I weigh 200 pounds, I'm trying to get down to, I don't know, 180. But if you body recomp correctly, if you execute that correctly, you might end up going down to 195, only losing 5 pounds, but your body's going to look completely different, way different than, and even better than it would have at 180. That's because you simultaneously built muscle and you burn fat at the same time.
Okay.
And so it kind of offsets the number on the scale. It's a thing of beauty, man. A lot of people have done it successfully, and it just looks awesome when they compare two pictures, and they literally weigh the same in those two pictures, but their body is obviously very, very different. And that's maintenance calories. But like I said, that's maintenance. Calorie deficit. You can also do this in a calorie deficit, but you have to be in a very small calorie deficit, anywhere between 100 calorie deficit, 200 calorie deficit. Obviously, the bigger the calorie deficit, 500, 1,000, the faster you'll lose weight. But after a 500 calorie deficit, you really start to sacrifice a lot of muscle tissue in the process as well. So I always recommend a slower calorie deficit to lose the weight and build muscle in the process, if not retain muscle in the process. And then a calorie surplus is to build more muscle on top of to build muscle at a faster rate than you would at maintenance calories. But because you're in a surplus, those surplus calories, not all of them are going to be stored as muscle. The body just doesn't work that way. Some of it will be stored as fat, and it will be stored as fat as you're in a surplus. The longer you're in a surplus, the more excess body fat that you will gain, and your body will store as fat, adipose tissue.
That's cool. Thank you for the breakdown.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, it's cool to hear you, man. I mean, obviously, we go way back, and we talk more than what we do on this podcast. Yeah. But someone as your friend, bro, someone that's sitting on the outside looking in, like, you definitely have helped me understand losing weight, gaining weight, and like I'm confident in myself to take what I've learned through you and apply that to myself.
Do it on your own.
Yeah, and do it on my own.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. And
that's what I want to show, not just you, but a lot of people. Yeah, I want to bring that kind of value to a lot of people. But yeah, that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think, I mean, give yourself a pat on your back, man, because, I mean, honestly, bro, like, I really learned a lot just through your own journey, and I appreciate that, and I really, like, I've said it before, the dedicated Joe Mind followers out there that listen to the Friends episode, like, I preach on, surround yourself with people that are going to help you and build you, and that's one of the ways that you've helped build me. I mean, I can't really say it right now if you're looking at me, if I jump on the scale, but I know the time where I set my mind to it, like, I'm going to be able to do what I need to do. And a lot of that's going to be pulling information from you and asking you questions And it's just cool. It's just cool that I have you as a resource like that. I have you as a friend that I could lean on and be like, yo, man, I'm struggling with this, or hey, I'm doing this. Like, what can I do to better it? Or, you know what I mean? It's just like you and Cliff.
Right.
You have Cliff to ask. I have you to ask, and it's just awesome. So I appreciate you for that, bro.
Absolutely, bro. Yeah, you're welcome, man. And shout out to the people that I've learned from as well. Like I didn't go to school. You would think that I went to school for this.
Honestly, yeah.
I went to school for business, man.
Yeah.
I graduated with a degree in accounting.
Tell me you're not a nutritionist?
No, man. I'm not a dietitian, nothing like that. I went to school for business. Got a dual major in accounting and supply chain management. And then outside of that, man, I learned on my own through other YouTubers, through other information that's out there, articles and stuff. And shout out to them, man. Because of them, I know what I know. So
definitely.
So all those fitness influencers out there, there's a lot of great fitness influencers out there that are doing the right thing. Obviously, I'm a product of that shit. Yeah. You know. So shout out to them, man.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Shout out to everyone that's been out there, and honestly, shout out to YouTube, man. YouTube. You see my videos, and everyone out there that watches me and follows me on Instagram, you all see me working on my car, man. If it wasn't for YouTube, I would be spending a lot of more money than I do now on my vehicles and just other things.
YouTube's like the best thing ever, dude.
Yeah, dude. Everything is YouTubeable nowadays.
Hell yeah, YouTube is so sick, man.
It definitely, it's crazy. Like, it's what it was back in the day to what it is now. It's so different. I remember watching YouTube with no ads, with no extra stuff on the sides. And now
these motherfuckers getting real comfortable with double ads, bro.
Oh yeah, they are.
Double ads left and right, bro.
And that skip button is starting to fade away.
Oh my god, bro. Yeah, it's just like you have to watch the whole ad now. It's like,
yeah, for real.
Damn.
I do tell you what though, they're coming out with some good jingles out there. I know that the Google-fi.
Oh yeah.
They're kind of.
It gets played out, but yeah.
Yeah. But some of the ads are starting to step it up a little bit, but yeah, you're right. They're getting real comfortable with
these double ads, man. It's like, god damn,
back,
dude. And it sucks because I binge YouTube so freaking much. It's crazy, man. And I binge it when I'm showering. Yeah. Right. If I'm not binging your podcast, I'm binging YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, when I'm in the showering and an ad comes on, and sometimes you get hit with those ads that are like 4 minutes long. It's just a freaking. I don't know.
That's when you gotta step out the shower.
That's when you're like, dude, what the hell am I listening to right now? And it just sucks. I don't step out. That's the thing. I don't step out of the shower because my hands are all wet and like you have to press the freaking screen hella because it doesn't get your fingers when it's wet. And it's like, true. I just sit there and listen to this freaking ad as I'm showering and
miserable on this fucking.
Yeah, and then you get hit with the second ad, and it's just like, god damn, man, it's crazy.
That's funny.
But hey, man, that's how these people get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, these people don't do this for free. Well, they do. They work themselves up. Yeah, they work themselves up to the point where they don't do it for free. So I mean, these ads are paying them. So
yeah. Well, speaking of ads, speaking of content, speaking of YouTube, you are a YouTube content creator as well.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing that?
Shoot, man, I started creating content back in 2019. I want to say. 2019 was when I uploaded my first YouTube video. I've had a YouTube account for like 11 years, man. I've always subscribed to different channels and watched different things, but I didn't upload my first actual content onto YouTube till 2019. It was like the summer of 2019. I put a whole transformation up on there. That was my first ever video. It was on my iPhone. It was all vertical and stuff. You know how like videos on YouTube are like horizontal?
Yeah.
Like widescreen and stuff. This one's all horizontal and shit, It's like my first video, whatever,
Yeah.
And then you start somewhere, right? And then I got a camera. I got a microphone, all that stuff. Then I started uploading these videos. I started sounding very like, hey, what's up, guys? As compared to now, I'm like, hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Even though I only have like 500 subscribers or whatever,
which is good. I mean, good milestone. I'm sitting at like 23 right now, but
hey, bro, slowly but surely, right? Slowly but surely, man. That number is increasing. That's all that matters, man. Slowly but surely. But
so speaking of that, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is the perfect time to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, drop a comment,
subscribe button.
Do us a solid and help us get where we need to go.
Turn on post notifications so that you're notified every time you post a new video. The vibes.
So one day you can listen to Joe's Mind and get hit with the double back to back-to-back ads.
Get hit with double ads.
Yep. But that's cool, man. Of course I'm subscribed to your channel. What else you got going on? You got your YouTube?
Yeah, so like I said, YouTube, I started 2019. Then I took a huge hiatus. Man, YouTube is hard, bro. And I
yeah.
commend every YouTuber because people don't understand the amount of work that it takes to create a YouTube video till they actually create it. And you'll see a lot of aspired YouTubers that want to make videos, and you'll see them drop one video, maybe two, and then go months without dropping another one because they realize how hard this shit is, man. And that's exactly what happened with me. I dropped like 3 videos, and I'm like, I got lazy. And it got to the point where I was like 8 months later, I'm like, hey, you must have been wondering where I was at. Well, to my 30 subscribers that I had at the time. Wondering where it's at. YouTube is hard, man. YouTube is hard. It takes a lot of time. You have to film yourself. You have to have the energy to film yourself. You have to have the time to film yourself. You have to have the time and energy to edit your own videos. Yep. Obviously, you want to not make them boring for the audience. So you have to do, your little edits here and there, add some things, add some sounds, add some pictures, this and that, zooms, all that stuff, and make it attractive. You have to create the thumbnail for the freaking YouTube. Yeah, you have to create the thumbnail so it's not... So that the thumbnail isn't some random cut piece from the video where you're just looking like a freaking weirdo. You're just like a deer and that's your thumbnail. Yeah, exactly. So you have to create a cool looking, attractive thumbnail. You have to do the description, which I like to be a little bit more personable in my description. I know a lot of YouTubers nowadays, especially now that they're big, they just copy and paste all the descriptions. Yeah. But some are still really personable. Like they actually have a personal message on their description. I appreciate that. Yeah. And I try to do that with mine as well. So there's just a whole lot of shit that goes into YouTube, man. Yeah, there is. But now I've been trying to stay as consistent as possible with it. I started a series called Leveled Up Shredding. Yep. I started that last year, 2020, after I came off that hiatus from 2019, right? Yeah. I went like 8 months without creating a video. And then I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a shredding series. And I went from 230, fluffy as hell, all the way down to 185 through my first shredding series. I think I had like 12 episodes or 10 episodes or something. Yeah. Something, right? 10 episodes is better than 2. Yeah, right.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this is my starting point. That's 1 episode. Second episode, my end point. It was like 10 solid videos. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I did that, and I continued producing more videos after my shredding series. Recipe videos, inspired recipe videos from other YouTubers. I also did.
Who's your go-to for recipes?
Oh man, it all started with Mr. Greg Doucette. Shout out Coach Greg, man. Freaking awesome, dude. He's like. I've learned so much from this man. We need to protect this man at all costs. I'm telling you, man. Yeah. This man is going to be on the Mount Rushmore of fitness influencers, at least for me. Yeah. Because this dude is the GOAT. I tell you, man. So that's awesome. Yeah, this dude is the GOAT, man. But there's Remington James produces a lot of great freaking recipe videos. And an underdog, or not an underdog, this guy's huge too. But Will Tennyson. This guy's like practically like a gourmet chef. One of his dreams and inspirations is to become a chef, but a lot of his recipes are super underrated. Great recipes. I love his recipes, and he gives some really good tips. So these three guys is where I like to get a lot of my recipes
from. All these recipes, I imagine they're made to.
They're anabolic, is what they call it, which means
that's not a steroid, is it?
No. Basically, when you take an anabolic recipe, you jack up the freaking protein, like. Mindlessly jack up the protein, and you lower the calories by taking out the fats, and so what you have is a low calorie, high protein recipe or meal. When you take out the fats, you greatly reduce the calories of the meal, which means you're able to have a larger quantity of it for less calories, and you still get the protein in there. Awesome. So that's basically what all these meals are. They're anabolic, and they taste amazing, man. Some of them are a little questionable, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you're dieting, And not to say that dieting has to suck, because it doesn't. That's what I've learned. It doesn't have to suck. Like I said, I enjoyed the hell out of my diet when I was on prep. The only thing that sucked is I was restricted to a certain amount of how much I had to eat. But other than that, I love my diet. Yeah, other than that, I love my diet. Like, I love coming home to eating my foods. It just sucked that I could only have this amount, X amount, versus I can have as much as I want. Like one of my main recipes that I make on the air fryer, it makes like these cool looking like burrito wraps. They're huge, man. I would only eat one during prep. Now that I'm not in prep, guess what? I make 2 of those motherfuckers because I can.
You're hitting them back to back. Like
man, and it's still low calorie. That's the thing, So, anyways, that's awesome. Where was I? I think I lost my train of thought. Anyways, damn. Oh yeah, YouTube, right? Yeah. Unless you had anything else to add on to that.
No, we're good.
Okay, yeah. So we got YouTube. did the shredding series, continued to make videos after that. And then I posted my video where I'm like, hey, I'm competing. So this goes back to putting pressure on myself, right? I made a whole ass video called I'm competing. Like, if that's not pressure, you know, I don't know what is. And even though I only got like 150 views, like those 150 views that I get, or 200 views or whatever, like those are a lot of them are loyal viewers, you know, and people that I don't want to let down. I don't give a fuck like who it is. I don't want to let these people down. You know, a lot of them, you never know who watches and enjoys your content until they actually speak up. And I'm actually surprised sometimes. Some people surprise me as to how much they watch my content and are like, hey man, I watch your stuff, dude. It's super inspirational. And that
it's not all me, surprisingly.
No, not all you, man. Like I'd be getting comments from a homie from the UK, man. Shout out to him, man. He be commenting on a lot of my videos, man. He's like, hey, shout outs for, you know, this is your #1 UK supporter. And I'm like, holy shit, that inspires the hell out of me, man. Like it motivates the hell out of me that, you know, these people out there, dude, the fucking UK, what the hell?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Like people like that are watching my content. Like I don't want to let any of them down. It's him or anybody else that watches my stuff, you know. So, like I said, I posted this video and I'm like, I'm competing. By the way, the UK, my homie from the UK, he was like, oh man, I can't wait for this series. It's gonna be an awesome series. You're gonna look amazing. So, like I said, pressure.
Yeah.
You know, pressure. Thinking, you know, going back to those 9 weeks out, and I was like, man, I don't want to let these people down. Like this is what I mean. Like I applied a lot of pressure to myself when I said I'm competing. You know, and I didn't want to give up. I didn't want to quit, and I never did. Thankfully, you know, I never threw in the towel. I was never going to throw in the towel. Trust me. Anyways, I digress. So yeah, I continued to make more videos, and then I finally started my second leveled up shredding, which was this last prep. And the reason why I made up this series called Leveled Up Shredding, because is the way I look at it is every time I go into these cutting phases or these shredding phases, I want to take something away from that, whether it's a more badass looking physique, a sharper mind, more knowledge, more something. As long as I leveled up, not even necessarily my physique. Like my physique next year, I don't think I'll plan on cutting next year, by the way, because like I said, I want to take this time to really grow and put on some sick muscle. But you know, let's say I did shred next year for my own personal goals, whatever. Even if it looks shittier next year compared to, you know, this year, as long as I got something out of that cutting phase, I leveled up. You know, I leveled up shredding. Like I gained some sort of knowledge, I gained some sort of experience out of that, whatever it is. As long as I gain something out of that, I've leveled up, and that's all that matters. That's why I call it level up shredding. And there's always something you learn when you go through a shredding phase, man. Like that takes a lot of discipline to, you know, go through a certain amount of weeks of restricting how much food you eat for a certain goal of how you want to look, or for, you know, losing weight and all that stuff. It really takes a lot. But leveled up shredding, man. This second series, it's up on YouTube now. I have about 14, 15, I think 16 or 17 episodes, which once again, I leveled up again. The last year I had 10 episodes or whatever of leveled up shredding. This year I almost doubled that, you know. Again, I leveled up once again, you know, my own content creation on YouTube. So I just kept going, and the videos got better. I got better at editing and doing all that stuff and carrying it on the camera, being comfortable in front of the camera, all that stuff. I was going through prep, a very tough and challenging time. But I was still putting out all this content. Now that's just YouTube, man. I also got a TikTok, and
out here TikToking in it, right?
Yeah, man. And I don't know what the hell it is with TikTok, but I be having 500 subscribers on YouTube. You flip over to my TikTok, and I got like 90,000 followers right now or something.
Nice,
like
dude,
probably,
awesome.
I think when I open it right now, it's gonna be about 90,000. Shit is crazy with the algorithm on TikTok, and what's crazy is that a lot of those followers don't reflect as much on your Instagram. Obviously, 500 versus 90,000 is insane. I don't know what it is with TikTok, man, but I got a TikTok. I'm constantly creating content on there.
So you're just making content left and right.
I got YouTube. I got TikTok. Instagram, I also try to be a lot more content-like creator on there, but I also just post a lot of like updates. A lot more personal stuff, like, hey, this is what I'm doing in my life. Hey, here's a picture of me with clothes on, not shirtless. You know, stuff like that.
Which is a weird thing if y'all don't know.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. I looked at my last repost on Instagram, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I have clothes in each one of these photos. I need to post a shirtless pic. It's about that time to post another shirtless pic. Yeah, I think I'll post one tomorrow.
But would it be you if there's not a shirt there?
Yeah, seriously. But so again, I'm constantly creating content. It is a whole ass second job, man. It's a whole ass, like I just explained how difficult YouTube was, and I'm still trying to pull that through. And then you add TikTok to that. I'm trying to drop a video a day for TikTok, and I'm trying to get to the point where I'm dropping 2 videos a day. I'm honestly working towards that. Yeah. So I'm hoping I get there. But, you know, the ultimate goal with all this content creation and stuff, man, it's like I said, man, I want to create value for people. Like I've created value for you and what you've learned. You know, people have created value for me. The people that I followed created this awesome value for me, right? Which I was able to kind of, you know, learn, retain, and then permeate it to my friends. And now you know, like I can confidently also, I agree with you. Like if you decided tomorrow, like, hey, I'm gonna lose weight, I feel like you would know what you need to do to lose weight. Yeah. Because, you know, you learned that through me, which I learned through my guys. Yeah. So that's what I want to continue to do, man. And I've been getting a lot of messages through TikTok, you know, inspirational messages, man, that motivate the hell out of me. Once again, people saying they love my content, people saying they love my advice, people thanking me for the information, people telling me how much weight they've lost because they followed my tips and advice.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Dude, that's gold right there. You know what I mean? Like that's the real payout.
Absolutely, man. Gold like these microphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and that shit motivates the hell out of me, man, so freaking much. And like I said, the goal with this content is to provide quality information that people can understand, people can grasp, wrap their head around, and that they can apply to their life, and they can finally get it. Like, oh, this is all it takes to reach my goals. Yeah. Bet, you know. Yeah. And they're doing it, and it provides value for them, man. At the end of the day, I'm looking for value. You know, success will follow. Yeah, absolutely. You know, so I always say not to become a successful person, become a person of value. Yeah. Because if you're looking to become a successful person and forgetting about the value, it's going to be a long road for you. If you focus on providing the value and not necessarily a successful person, the success will follow. Before you know it, you'll be like, oh, snap, I've helped this much people. Holy snap, man, you know, this and that. We want to sponsor you, man. You know, you have this huge following because, like I said, you've been able to provide value for people. And that's what I want to do, man, is I want to provide as much value as I can to my audience in a way that they understand. Because I like to say one of the key differences of my content compared to other content is I'm a slow learner. Yeah. Yeah.
I would say I am too.
Yeah, I'm a slow learner, man. Like it takes a lot of visual for me to learn. It takes a lot of reiteration for me to learn. Like I'm always like, wait, so you have to do this, and then that's how I got through college. That's how I got through high school. A lot of reiteration, you know.
That's awesome. I mean, it's awesome that you understand yourself and you're able to learn.
Yeah. Like before I tested in college, like for finals and stuff, I would study the hell out of everything, man, so freaking much. Yeah. Just because I said I need that reiteration, and even if it's self, like I when I'm studying, I reiterate everything to myself as much as possible so that I'm able to retain it before actually doing it. Because when I'm in class, man, and I'm taking notes, I don't learn as much as when I actually take the textbook home and I reflect on those notes, and then I'm like, oh, okay, this makes more sense now that I'm able to kind of grasp it a lot more on my own. Anyways, like I said, I'm a slow learner. I don't just get out of class and I know everything. I don't study and I get a freaking B or A minus on the test the next day. No, I study my ass off before I get that A, you know. And it's the same thing with this kind of stuff, with the content that I create. I like to make it as understandable as possible. I like to put myself in the shoes of a slow learner. Which is why I've been getting a lot of information or a lot of props on my information and how I present it. The way people tell me, like, I like the way you present your information. This makes more sense. Oh, I've been trying to explain the calorie deficit for so long, and this is one of the best videos I found how to explain the calorie deficit. Like, that's the way I want to present my information. That's the way I want to present myself to people. You know, because obviously this information is out there, man. If you really want to learn how to lose weight, like you said, YouTube is out there. Mm-hmm. Now, unfortunately, you know, some of it might be clouded with misinformation, but if you find the right person, they will present the information that you need. So you got to set yourself apart some way, somehow, even if it's just your personality. Yeah. But even more so, if you have quality information and you know how to present it in a way that hasn't been presented before, that's going to bring some distinction into the plate, right? Yeah. And it's going to bring a lot more value that way, because you're showing something different rather than just being, you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. You know, you can display it in a way that they've never seen before, and then they're gonna snap, man. It's gonna be like a light turned on in their head. Oh, snap, that makes sense. So that's what it means. That's the entire time I've been trying to learn what it meant. Like, I've had people tell me, can you explain intermittent fasting? Yeah, sure, I can explain intermittent fasting. Boom, 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 boom. I showed them using a graph and stuff, and using my hands and all this crazy stuff, right? Yeah. And they're like, oh, So that's what it means, because people be thinking like intermittent fasting has some special kind of health benefit or some special kind of fat loss benefits in the body, because your body knows it's fasting, and so now it's going to speed up fat loss or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, all intermittent fasting does for you is it pushes your calories to later in the day, giving you a smaller window in that day to fall within a calorie deficit, right? To eat within a calorie deficit, making it easier for some, but at the same time, it could also make it harder for some, because you starve yourself for the first half of the day.
Yeah.
And then you get hungry to the point where you actually overeat rather than undereat. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's say you fast for half the day and you end up ordering a pizza. You eat the entire pizza because you starved all day and you were just that hungry.
Yeah.
You end up in a calorie surplus. You're not going to lose weight because you intermittent fasted. That's not the way it works, you know.
So just because you starved yourself in the morning doesn't necessarily give you the pass.
People think some people, and it's crazy because some people do think that intermittent fast. If you intermittent fast, you can eat so much freaking food and you'll lose weight because you intermittent fasted. The body knows, right, parentheses or quotations, the body knows that you intermittent fasted. Yeah. So it's going to start burning fat, and you can eat whatever you want within that window because you intermittent fasted. But at the end of the day, you can still eat in a calorie surplus within that window of eating and gain weight. You know, at the end of the day, it's always going to be calorie deficit to lose weight, calorie surplus to gain weight.
Yeah.
Calorie or maintenance calories to maintain weight.
I see.
So. Yeah.
Well, with that, what are some of the fitness industry's myths that they've duped us into believing that this is the right way, or this is the only way, or this is what are some of the things that you've learned throughout your journey that you can share with us and help us understand?
Well, that exactly. So, like I said, intermittent fasting is one of those myths that people think that, hey, if I intermittent fast, you know, I fast for the first 5 hours of the day, I can eat whatever I want and lose weight because I intermittent fasted. That's the way it works, right? So that's one of them. It's called fad diets, right? There's also like keto's a huge one right now, and it's been for a while, I believe.
Keto's huge. I feel like I started hearing it when we were in college, and it hasn't gone away.
So I mean, that's another one. You know, keto this, keto that, keto this, and people think that because they're on keto, they're going to lose weight. Just for the straight fact that they're eating keto, that they're going to lose weight. But you can still eat in a calorie surplus while in keto. And guess what? If you eat strictly keto, but eat in a calorie surplus, you eat more calories than your maintenance calories while on keto, you're going to gain weight because that's just the way it works. Yeah. If you eat in a calorie deficit while eating keto, stupid freaking fly.
I know, this fly's fucking trying to get on this.
If you eat in a calorie deficit while in keto, you're going to successfully lose weight. So, but a lot of people sometimes... some people will tell you that keto is the only way to lose weight. Some people will tell you carb cycling is the only way to lose weight. Some people will tell you my program is the only way and the most effective way, you know, to lose weight. My program is going to be the easiest one. This is practically the only one you should be following because this, and that. This is what you can do to lose weight. It sounds attractive. Blah, blah, blah. This is the only way it works. This and that. And people fall for that. And
so you're saying, like, keto and intermittent fasting, they don't necessarily not work. They don't work if you're eating more than what you should be eating and believing that the diet itself is going to essentially take care of losing the weight loss.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So just because you're doing keto doesn't mean the body doesn't know that you're doing keto. And just because it's doing keto, it's going to automatically lose weight over time. No. The way the body works is a science. Calories in, calories out. The amount of calories that you consume and the amount of calories that you burn. If you consume more calories than your body burns, you're going to gain weight. Okay. If you consume less calories than your body burns, right, eat in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose weight. And you can do that through keto, you can do that through carb cycling, you can do that through intermittent fasting, you can do that through the 1 meal a day diet, you can do that through a carnivore diet, you can do it through a pescatarian diet. It doesn't matter. The same concept always applies. If you eat too much calories in a carnivore diet, if you eat in a calorie surplus, you're going to gain weight. Hell, you know what? If you eat 3,000 calories of a salad and your maintenance is only 2,500 calories, that 500 calorie surplus of that salad is going to be stored as fat because it's a surplus. Okay. So just because you eat healthy per se, let's say you eat all organic. Yeah. Nuts, just green, like a spinach and, you know, kale, all that, carrots, super healthy, peanut butter, guacamole, or, you know, your homemade guacamole, all by organic avocados, all that stuff, 100% healthy, right? If you eat 3,000 calories of your super healthy food, but your maintenance calories is only 2,500 calories, you're in a 500 calorie surplus. You are going to gain weight off that 500 calorie surplus if you're consistently hitting a 500 calorie surplus off healthy foods. Okay. There's a distinction between just eating healthy and eating in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Eating healthy is good for your overall, obviously, overall longevity and health. But at the end of the day, where was I going with this? At the end of the day, being overweight and obese leads to some of the leading causes of death, which is heart disease, right? Obesity, diabetes, all that stuff is linked to being overweight and stuff, right? So like I said, there's a huge distinction between eating healthy and eating to lose weight, which is more flexible dieting, eating in a calorie deficit, making sure you're getting enough protein, and make sure you're losing weight. So yeah, there's a huge distinction between the two. People think that just because you eat healthy, you're going to lose weight. But at the end of the day, if you eat healthy and you eat in a calorie surplus while eating healthy the entire time, you're still going to gain weight because you're in a surplus. That's just the way the body works. It's a science.
Is there... So I remember one time I went to the doctors, and during that time, I was in a very similar weight where I'm at right now, and I asked the doctor, I wanted to lose weight. I was a little worried of my health at the time. The doctor was like, "Hey, you're fine. You're young. You can lose the weight. Restrict your calorie intake to a 1,500 calorie diet, and work out." Is that something you would recommend?
I would recommend that here's what I would recommend you do, man. You track your calories. Start tracking your calories, right? Yeah. Let's start getting a firm number of how much calories you're eating a day. Okay. Right? Take that number, right? Because at the end of the day, there's also calorie calculators out there. Yeah. Which, if you really want a ballpark range where to begin, you can definitely lean towards a calorie calculator. It's going to give you a maintenance calories based off the information that you input onto that. Yeah. But it's far inaccurate, wildly off. But it could give you a good enough ballpark range for you to begin at, to start off your maintenance calories. And you can even subtract 300 calories from that, 500 calories from that. That's going to be your calorie deficit. That's going to be your goal to hit to lose weight, right? That's using these calorie calculators. But like I said, again, they could be wildly off. At the end of the day, the best way to do it is to be trial and error. Yeah. So that's one way, using that and giving yourself a good estimate to begin at. Yeah. Start off your maintenance calories and start eating a calorie deficit. Or what you can do, because nobody knows your body the way you do. And sometimes you won't even know your body until you actually do the trial and error method. Yeah. Learn how much calories you're taking in a day, right? And track that, and then slowly start chipping away calories until you're losing weight. Once you start losing weight at that certain amount of calories you've been eating, now keep in mind you're measuring yourself every morning, right? The best time to measure yourself is in the morning because that's the most accurate representation of your weight, right? After you pee, after you do number 2, all that stuff, you weigh yourself. That's going to be the most accurate representation of your weight. So take the amount of...
Drink water.
Drink water. Don't drink water, nothing. Pee it all out, do your business, and then weigh yourself. That's going to be the most accurate representation of your weight. Track it daily. Take that average. If it's going under, if it's dropping with the amount of calories that you're consuming, guess what? You're in a calorie deficit. Keep that up. Yeah. If it's going up, you're in a calorie surplus. You need to drop your calories. If it's staying pretty stagnant, the same, you're at maintenance calories.
I see.
So now you know your maintenance calories.
Yeah.
And if you want to drop weight, slowly chip away those calories. Now, the bigger the calorie, let's say your maintenance was, you learned this through trial and error. Let's say your maintenance was 2,500 calories. If the doctor recommended you 1,500 calories, that's 1,000 calorie surplus. That's an unhealthy surplus. Yeah. You really start developing some bad eating habits, some very, very unhealthy relationships with food. Yeah. Right. I like I said, I watch Coach Greg. I know he doesn't like when people say relationships, but there's really no other way to describe it. Yeah. Relationship with food, like it. Dude, I just got through with prep, and when I was in prep, food was a number to me. Yeah. Like I looked at food and I was like, that's a number to me. I can't have it. Yeah. That's a bad relationship with food. I don't know any other way to describe it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, man, 1,000 calorie deficit will develop those bad eating habits, a bad relationship with food. Yeah. And I would have said learn your maintenance calories and maybe drop it 500 calories. That's going to put you at 2,000 calories. You're still going to lose weight over time. And the diet's not going to suck as much as it would when you were be eating 1,500 calories. Yeah. Right? You have another 500 calories to play with. Yeah. And if you're eating the recipes that I like to indulge in, the high protein, low calorie recipes that are delicious.
Yeah.
You can easily take those 500 calories and make a bomb kind of meal out of that.
Yeah.
You definitely can.
Not something that's like
not
peas and
not 500 calories of nuts. That's like a small handful. Like
which is crazy.
You can easily eat like a small handful of nuts for 500 calories.
That's a lot of calories for something small.
For a small handful of nuts, and that's healthy.
Yeah.
That is considered healthy because they're nuts. Yeah. Nuts are healthy. But they're so freaking calorie dense. It's not going to fill you up.
Yeah.
You're not going to look forward to just eating a handful of nuts for 500 calories. No, you're going to want something fulfilling, something that smacks, right? Something
that's like out of 1,500, that's a third of
your calories for the day.
Yeah.
A small handful of nuts.
Yeah. That's insane.
Now, I keep saying a small handful of nuts is 500 calories, but I mean, and it's true, man. Like, once you actually start weighing this stuff, you're going to see, like, holy crap, that's really, like, dude, 2 spoons of peanut butter, which, by the way, I think 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, if I remember correctly, is 200 calories. That's 1 serving of peanut butter.
Yeah.
200 calories, 1 serving. And once I actually pull that 1 serving, because I've looked at it, that 1 serving, it's freaking puny, man.
Yeah.
It's puny. That's 200 calories. That means 2 servings of peanut butter is 400 calories. Like, that's insane to me, you know? You know how much food I can make with 400 calories? It's just insane, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I've seen your TikTok videos, and I've seen the wraps, and yeah, no, you definitely.
These wraps, they look like burritos you'd get off an LA taco truck, off a Yakima taco truck.
Yeah, straight up.
These bomb ass taco trucks we have here in Yakima.
Yeah.
No, I'm not undermining. I'm not undermining the taco trucks we have in Yakima.
Yeah,
they're bomb. So these wraps that I make, when they're out of the freaking air fryer, they look exactly like the burritos you would get from a taco truck out there, but way less calories, higher in protein. Well, actually, the protein's still pretty high with those guys too, but it's also high protein with me, and it fits your diet. You're able to lose weight off of it. There's no grease involved, anything like that. So, yeah, man, and like I said, with 400 calories, I can make a bomb ass wrap like that.
Yeah,
which is crazy. And you can have if you're craving pop, don't drink the pop with calories. I always say, do not drink your calories. Don't drink your calories. Mm-hmm. That adds up so freaking quick, man. I think a little can of Coca-Cola, I think, is 140 calories.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah, if you drink 2 of them in one day, that's 300 calories.
That's
or you can go to the diet pop, which people are going to say, oh, but it has artificial sugars and all that stuff. But you know what? At the end of the day, pop, if you're drinking pop, it's a double-edged sword. Whether you drink the real sugar pop or the artificial sugar pop, it's a double-edged sword. They're both not good. But one is going to put you in a calorie surplus, and you're going to gain weight, the one with sugar.
Yeah.
The other one has 0 calories, and it's going to help you be in a calorie deficit, and you curve your pop craving.
Yeah.
Right?
You still get a drink of a pop.
You still get that
watered
fizz.
Down pop.
You still get that fizz, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes a lot of people just crave the fizz.
That's true. That
and
is the combination.
And a lot of people always say, oh, diet pop, it's not the same. Suck it up.
Yeah, I mean, facts. It's not the same, but yeah,
Suck it
up. When you got a goal in mind, it's worth the sacrifice.
Yeah, I was drinking 1 diet pop a day during prep.
Yeah.
And I was drinking like 0 calorie energy drinks on the weekends because on the weekends I drink less caffeine because at work I drink like coffee, like 2-3 cups of coffee at work, and then I drink pre-workout at the gym, so it's like a lot of caffeine. So I try to also limit it, but during the weekends, when I'm not drinking coffee at work and stuff, I do drink like a 0 calorie energy drink during prep, stuff like that. But like I said, going back to I don't like to drink my calories. Anything that's 0 calorie, I will drink it. If it has a ton of calories, I'm not drinking it.
Yeah.
The only time I drink my calories is when it's alcohol and I'm trying to have a good time with my friends.
Yeah.
That's the only time. And even then, if I'm having a mixed drink, I'm mixing that shit with diet pop.
Yeah.
If I'm having a beer, nowadays I don't even have beer anymore. I just have hard seltzers like the White Claws and the Trulies and stuff,
shout out the White Claws.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. That, like I said, I'm a human, man. Like, I like to have fun with my friends. I'm not this freaking robot that just sits there and I don't drink, bodybuilding, blah, 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 calories in, calories out, everything's, no, I like to have fun. I like to indulge in bomb delicious food.
Life wouldn't be the same without fun, right?
No, man, absolutely not. Food is so fucking delicious, dude. It's a way of life, man. Like, when people tell me, hey, man, you trying to go grab some food, I light up.
Yeah.
Like a child. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm trying to go grab some food. What's good?
Speaking my language.
Hell yeah, so yeah, going back to that, the only time I do drink my calories is when I'm like drinking like a White Claw or a Truly, 100 calories a can. Can't go wrong. or I'm drinking like Hard A or something.
Yeah.
Or I'm drinking a protein shake, which I hardly ever drink protein shakes. I always use protein powders to make like protein ice cream, protein pancakes, protein waffles. You know, I always use that in recipes nowadays.
That's cool. I didn't know that. You're not trying to say refrain, but you're no longer drinking the protein shakes. You're now mixing it in your food.
Yeah, I now mix it in my food to have something that I can chew on rather than just like I said. Not that it's bad to drink a protein shake. It's not. At the end of the day, like if you are in a hurry and you need some quick access to protein, yeah, sure, just throw a scoop of protein in your cup, mix it in water, drink it, and you have 25 grams of protein right there. Boom, done. But when you have the time, when usually I have the time, I'll make protein pancakes, right? Something that I can chew on, something I can enjoy, indulge in. Protein waffles, protein ice cream, stuff like that. So.
That's very, I would say, psychic in a sense of like you're really tap into your mind at that point. You know, whether drinking versus eating. I think we would prefer to eat something than drink something.
Absolutely.
Know, unless you're obviously jumping on the fat diet of Shakeology and just drinking smoothies, which that's not what our body's made to do. Is just to drink liquids.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's also liquid diets out there, which liquid diets would suck.
So what I'm hearing essentially with these fat diets is if they're making you eat outside of your maintenance calories and you're in a surplus, you're going to gain. And obviously, I mean, if you're eating less and you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to lose. Which may not necessarily mean that specific diet is the only way to do it.
Right. Right. And I mean, and some people do these diets because they like them. At this point, they've gotten used to them, and they're like, hey, I just like the diet. I like the foods that I'm able to eat, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I always say I never like to just trash on diets at the end of the day. I just like to flexibly eat, and if I'm trying to lose weight, I'm going to eat in a calorie deficit. If I'm trying to gain weight, I'm going to eat in a calorie surplus. If I'm trying to maintain my weight, I'm going to eat in maintenance calories. I'm just going to eat a diet that consists of low-calorie, high-protein meals, right? But I do not trash on anybody's diets, whether they're doing keto, whether they're doing carb cycle. Whatever helps you reach that goal and helps you be in a calorie deficit, do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean,
do it.
And honestly, I think it's something worth mentioning. Like, there's a book that I've read, Brainwash, where it's just a book about resetting your brain. And that the author that wrote it, David Perlmutter, he has the ketogenic diet is something that he recommends to his patients. And one of stories that he shares on his website is that there was a patient of his that has severe epilepsy. So she will have seizures throughout the day and multiple seizures. And after being put on this ketogenic diet, she virtually has 0 seizures. And in that article that I was reading, she went from having, I think, like 3 to 6 seizures a day to basically having 0 seizures for 3 months. And so it's crazy what food and what kind of diets, how they interact with our body, and that's something that, that I respect, is that, at the end of the day, you do got to find something that works for you.
That's true. So piggybacking off of that, that's the only time that I would say that, hey, you have to really pay attention to certain foods that you're eating. Because obviously if you have high blood pressure, you're not going to want a whole lot of sodium in your diet, and you're probably going to want to monitor that more of that sodium, right? Me right now, like, thankfully, I don't have any kind of these. I don't have health ramifications from any of the foods that I intake, as far as I know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm able to eat the sodium. I'm not worried about the sodium. As long as I drink plenty of water, the sodium will go away. You eventually pee it out or whatever, right? Sodium just causes water retention, but that's fine if you're drinking plenty of water. But someone that has high blood pressure or something probably needs to mitigate that a bit more and has to follow a different diet. So that's the only time that I would say, you need to pick something that works for you. That you're able to stick to because of certain health aspects of health issues that you have, So if you absolutely, like, there's people that can't have gluten bread, or they have to eat only gluten-free products, then that means they have to go on a kind of a gluten-free diet, right? And that's because there's health issues involved. That's the only time I'm like, okay, then you absolutely need this kind of diet. But the same concept holds. If they're doing this diet that helps, this individual not have any more, what was she having?
Epilepsy or seizures.
Okay, if she's eating this diet and she's no longer having seizures, the same concept holds. If she's trying to lose weight, she needs to eat in a calorie deficit. If she's trying to gain weight, calorie surplus. Now, obviously, at this point, you're just trying to be healthy and not have these seizures, right? But I'm just kind of putting things into perspective. The same concept always holds. Someone that's gluten free, if they need to lose weight, if they want to or need to lose weight, they need to eat in a calorie surplus, a calorie deficit. If they want to gain, calorie surplus.
That's cool. That's honestly that's very insightful. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that really does take any diet out there. If it's intermittent fasting, if that's something that works for someone and they like the way it feels in the morning, if it works with the schedule, they know that having that calorie surplus and knowing those calorie surplus and maintenance and deficit work for them will basically put them where they need to go depending on their goal. Right. Same with the keto and just any other diets out there. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. I mean, I would agree that, calories in, calories out is definitely the way to go, knowing that that's essentially our body is running on these calories, and it is the reason why we're, gaining and losing and whatnot.
Right.
That's cool. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So I know on your channels and just in general, you speak a lot about being natural. Can you lighten us with the fitness industry and these people that are on these influencers that claim, or maybe not even claim, but don't say anything when they're not natural? What kind of misconceptions are out there, and what are some of the things that you can help us understand to not be so hard on ourselves?
So first of all, my stance on PEDs is
PEDs are performance enhancing drugs.
Performance enhancing drugs, right? Which PEDs are different from steroids, but they're both kind of this. I mean, they're different from each other, but they're still like steroids. They help you get a great looking physique. Both PEDs and steroids. They help you attain this awesome, unattainable physique. Okay. Right. So, anyways, my stance on that, just kind of kick this off, this whole topic. I don't have a problem with people that take it. Mm-hmm. People at the end of the day want to look good, right? People want to look good. They want to feel good. That's why people get plastic surgery on their face. People get, some women will go out and get Brazilian butt lifts, which is fine. People want to look good. Women get breast implants. Steroids and PEDs is the exact same thing, whether you're male or female or other, right? It's the exact same thing there. People want to look good, feel good. And some people also want to do it for the sport. But there's literally some people that just do it because they want to look good at a beach or anything like that. Yeah. So I have no problem with people taking them at all whatsoever.
So they're not like, they shouldn't be looked at as bad.
No, not at all. Because if you look at them as bad, then why aren't you looking at, like I said, people that do plastic surgery to their nose because they don't like the way their nose looks. Yeah. You should also be looking down on them because they did almost the exact same thing. Now, the only thing that's different, obviously, about PEDs, and this is the reason why I wouldn't want to ever take them, but I never say never. Even myself, man, like, I never say never. Yeah. I might get into a point in my life where I'm like, I'm going into the dark side is what they call it. Yeah. Right? But I'm going to start taking something, Never say, as of right now, I'm natural, and I plan on staying natural my whole life. Yeah. But, I also said I'd never do a bodybuilding show. And look where that went. Yeah. But anyways, the reason why I would not want to do them is because for me, it's not worth the health ramifications, right? Yeah. It's not worth having bigger biceps and a bigger chest is not worth slashing years off my life, right? And not being there in the future for my friends, for my family, my future kids, stuff like that. So for me, that's not worth it. Yeah. But for other people, they either don't look at it that way, or they don't care, or whatever. It doesn't bother me. People at the end of the day just want to look good. Sometimes it's whatever it takes, or sometimes they just don't look at it that way. But for me, that's what it is. That's the only reason why I don't want to take this kind of things, is because for me, it's not worth the health ramifications. Or maybe I don't have any health ramifications. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I won't know until I take them, which I don't know if I ever will. I don't think I ever will. That's what I'm saying now. Yeah. But yeah, for me, it's just not worth the health ramifications. But for others, maybe for them, they're like, it's okay, whatever. I don't look down upon it. I don't look at it like, oh, he's cheating. He's rushing the process. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Why? I don't care. Do you at the end of the day? What kind of... Actually, yeah. No, it doesn't bother me. The fitness industry is full of naturals and non-naturals. It's full of people that are natural, they claim natural, and they are natural. Mm-hmm. It's full of people that are not natural. They say they're not natural, so they're up front and transparent and honest about it. Like, hey, I take this, this, and this. This is why I look like this. I'm not trying to mislead you. This is why I look the way I look. You know, so there's people out there that are taking this and they're transparent about it. There's people out there that they call fake natties, right? That's a term that's been, you know, floating around the fitness industry.
Yeah.
Of people that take PEDs but never say anything at all. Like, they don't even, some of them don't even claim natty. They just take it but don't ever bring it up, don't ever mention it, nothing. And I also don't have a problem. The reason why I don't have a problem with these individuals neither, because some people do. Some people will be like, oh, this individual is not natty. And he should come out as natty because this and that. The reason why I don't have a problem with those people neither is because a lot of these guys that are doing that, their body's making them money. Their sponsorships making them money. If some of them come out and say, hey, I'm taking this, this, and that, they might lose their income. You know, part of it, they might lose their sponsorship. They might lose their clothing sponsorship, their supplement sponsorship, something, because that contract strictly says, hey, don't come out with this and this, you know, or don't, you know, blah, blah, blah. So that's when it doesn't. But when it bothers me, sort of, is when people are on it and they claim natural. Like, this is all natural. This is all natty. You know, you can achieve this by doing this, this, and this. Achieve this by doing this, this, and this. Do these certain workouts. I've been training hard my entire life to look the way I look. I'm 100% natural. And sometimes clearly you can tell they're not. Yeah. And they're claiming that they are. And that's the only time that I'm like, maybe we shouldn't have to mislead the population into this. Because what happens is, you know, you see these people on Instagram, you know, scrolling through Instagram, and they see a lot of these physiques, these unattainable physiques, and they start comparing themselves to those unattainable physiques. And they think they can do it naturally. They think they can do it with hard work and eating. And, you know, some of these people are claiming natural. And you can clearly tell they're not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, that's the only kind of issue I would have with that, is just that it misleads people. And it does mislead a lot of people. Like, I used to be a firm believer that if I work hard enough, I can attain some of these amazing looking physiques that I've seen on the internet. And this is back when I used to compare myself to the people. I've stopped comparing myself to the people. At the end of the day, the only person I compare myself to is myself. Yeah. Right. And that's the only person I want to. Yeah. And the only person that I want to be and be better than is myself. Right. Yeah. I'm the only one I'm afraid of. But yeah, that's about it, man. Like I said, there's the people that claim they're natural, but they're not. There's the people that claim they're not natural, and they're not natural, like they come out with it. Yeah. And there's people that are natty, and they are natty, you know. Yeah. So that's what you'll see. And you'll see especially a lot of kids coming up, you know, seeing these guys. Yeah, another reason why sometimes not coming out with these kind of things is good for those individuals that are getting paid through this stuff is you don't want to promote that stuff neither. You know, you don't want to be like, I take this, this, and this to look like that, because then if you promote it too, and I'm kind of falling into a slippery slope here, but yeah. if too much people come out with it, it's going to become a norm.
That it's like okay to do something.
It's okay to do something, but at the end of the day, you don't know the health ramifications that lie behind taking these certain things, you know? Yeah. And so it's a very slippery slope when it comes to supplements, PEDs, man, because as much as I would love for people to come out and be like, hey, I'm taking this, so that they're very transparent with everybody, myself. Oh, not myself. Like, I don't care, whatever. Yeah. Like I said, I don't care. But with other individuals coming up, with kids watching these guys, is, you know, if too much of it's happening, then these kids are going to be like, oh, everyone's doing it. Yeah. I'll just do it too.
It's kind of like drugs. I mean, respectfully, they are drugs, but like, it's like smoking weed in high school.
Everyone's doing it, right? Everyone's doing it. Hey, everyone's doing it. I'll do it. And that's why sometimes you'll see some ODs, man. Yeah. Some people don't know how to take these kind of things. Yeah. And unfortunately, they're iced, you know?
Yeah. And then, you know, it's crazy because, you know, when you talking about it makes me think about like people's genetics. Like, how do PEDs and steroids, how does that affect your genetic in the long run? What if you end up having a child? Do you know what I mean? Like,
and I don't have the answer for that.
Yeah.
I said, as a natural, I am a virgin to these kind of. I'm a virgin to this whole like thing when it comes to drugs, because I've never touched one. I'm a complete virgin to it. I don't know what this and this does for this and this and that. Like, I've never touched it. So I don't know what kind of effects it'll have on your fertility or whatever.
Yeah.
How your kids come out. I don't. I wish I had the answer, but
yeah, no, I mean, it'd be interesting to figure out like what's what, you know what I mean? But I mean, even with the drugs that are like street drugs, like cocaine, meth, you know what I mean? Like what I mean, obviously there's babies that do come out sooner than they should be, and that's because of these drugs, you know what I mean? But yeah, so it's just I'm curious to see what PEDs do to know people's genetics in terms of having kids. But
I feel you. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that come out, that they're doing this stuff, and they have kids.
Yeah.
Kids are the sweetest little things. Like,
yeah,
they're great. They're learning good. They're just normal children, and I've seen that as well. So
some people that.
No, not me personally. Like,
okay.
Fitness influencers that have a family.
I see, okay.
that are out there doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. The industry, it's crazy, man. Fitness industry is dope though. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, it's dope.
Yeah, I mean, it's done wonders for you, and I've liked what it's done with you. You know what I mean? Like you're challenging yourself to be better. I mean, you've clearly chosen a path to stay natural. If that changes in the future, I mean, that's a bridge you're gonna have to cross when you come to it.
When I get there,
but, I just, you're not kicking puppies. You know what I mean? You're losing your teeth. You're not, shooting yourself up with anything that's not helping you be a better version of you. So, I would agree that, the fitness industry you alone have shed a light into this world where me personally, I don't know if I would get myself into it just because, I'm not that I'm not big on fitness, but what gets me going is, it's more competitive sports, so I mean, that's as far as I get into when it comes to like physical health and stuff like that. But I do have a trick question for you.
Yeah.
I guess, or maybe not a trick question, but a question nonetheless. So let's say there's a woman. Because I know women make you nervous.
Okay.
So let's just say a woman takes fat from her stomach. And she puts it somewhere else on her body. Is she considered natural or not?
No.
No.
No, I know. Just like someone that because I don't know. That is kind of a tricky question because did she do all the proper things to build her butt? Right? Did you say butt or did you say somewhere else?
It's somewhere else.
Oh crap! Okay, so, I'm over here assuming.
Nervous.
I'm over here assuming butt, and that's not even that.
No, just
but did she do everything to grow that body part first? And she tried everything. Let's just assume it's her butt, right? Let's assume it's her butt. Okay.
Yeah. I think let's be honest, people. Everyone was thinking
that was everyone's assumption.
Everyone was thinking that.
That's everyone's assumption. So let's assume it's her butt.
Yeah.
Did she do everything to grow that butt on her own? And did she finally find out that it's just not in her genetics to grow a big butt? Because, dude, some women, like I said, everybody stores fat differently and everybody loses fat differently. Some women naturally store more fat in their glutes. And you'll see a lot of these women with tight waists, small waists, but huge glutes. Yeah. That's just the way their body stores fat. That's just in their genetics.
If I was a woman, that would be me. Just saying.
Yeah. See, there you go. So some women stored in their belly first. Some women stored in their hips first. I'd also be that woman too. Some women stored in their hips first. Some women stored in their thighs first. Everybody stores and loses fat differently. It's all distributed differently for everybody based on their genetics. So this individual, this woman that you just brought up, did she do everything to bring up those glutes and then eventually find out that it's just not in her genetic potential to grow glutes? Mm-hmm. Once she found that out, like, hey, you know what? I've done everything I could. I just can't grow a butt. I think it's time for a medical procedure. Then, yeah, she wouldn't be considered natural because she could never get there naturally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
She tried getting there naturally, and it just didn't work.
So we're just saying she wouldn't be considered natural in terms of just
because it was something that wasn't achieved, that can't be achieved natural
genetically.
For her. Yeah, something that cannot be achieved natural for her.
I see.
Now, if it's a girl, if it's a you reference. I need to keep referencing back to like who the hell you reference, and you did reference a woman. Now, if it's a woman that didn't try all that, Who knows if she's natural or not? Because maybe she could have achieved it on her own, but she just chose not to. Which I mean, that's okay. That's all right.
It's your body.
Everybody wants to look good.
Yeah.
You know, everybody I always go back to everybody wants to look good. Whether you're taking PEDs, whether you're taking steroids, whether you're doing breast implants or BBLs or whatever. So if this individual did that and didn't do everything on the back end to ensure that she could do it naturally, then who knows if she's a natural or not? Because maybe she could have done that naturally. I don't know. She didn't try.
Yeah, that's a good point. I thank you for sharing that. And
I hope that brought some perspective into your trick question.
Yeah, it did. And I would agree. That makes sense.
You slick little bastard.
That's what I do. But that's a good response. And honestly, I would agree. Yeah, if it's not in your genetics, that makes sense that you're doing something outside of your genetics to make it happen. So I mean, I'm
just like some women. Obviously, it's not in their genetics to have big breasts, right? And so they're gonna go through a medical procedure to get those breasts. They're not natural breasts.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah,
genetics.
Shout out to all the women out there that are listening and tuning in on Joel's Mind and just everything that we're talking about today. So yeah,
and nothing against these women. Like I said, it's never anything against these women. Body dysmorphia is a huge thing, man, and it sucks because it all falls back to social media and the way these women. Man, there's some beautiful women on social media, and there's other women that compare themselves to them or want to look like them or consciously say they don't want to look like them. They don't care, but consciously they kind of do. It's just it sucks.
Social media, it's like they say,
it sucks, man.
It's a snapshot, it's a highlight, and there's different apps out there that make you look something that you're not. Like, look at these filters, man. Like, these filters make my face look like this is what I look like with no acne scars, no nothing. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy what we can do with technology nowadays. There's Photoshop. You can make a curve more curvier. You can make a shadow be there, make it not be there, and there's a lot of just, I guess, illusions in today's world, and me personally, I would say, like you're saying, the PEDs, the steroids, like that almost is an illusion. It's like, someone's looking at someone else saying, I want to be like that, but not knowing if this person is actually doing something out of their norm of their genetic build to achieve that. That is very misleading. You know what I mean? And so it's interesting, it's interesting out there. I mean, and even outside of genetics, social media, the Photoshop, the apps, we can do something to make ourselves look something that we're really not. And it's trickery. It's tricky out there because like you're saying, we can't compare ourselves to other people. Like, our best way of handling life is comparing ourselves to ourselves.
Absolutely, man. But shout out to all the beautiful women, all the she, her, hers, they, them, theirs, everybody out there, man. All you beautiful people, man.
The he, hims.
Shout out all the men out there. Shout out to all you, man.
All the dad bods and whatnot.
Absolutely, man. You're beautiful in and out, and just don't let social media get to you that way or anything, man. Like, for real, like.
Yeah. As long as you're happy.
Beautiful, and as long as you're happy, man.
Yeah, that's what matters.
And don't let it affect your health.
Yeah.
That's another thing I always say. Don't let it affect your health neither.
Yeah.
Physically. Mentally, if you're good
small.
mentally, like your mental health.
Yeah.
I preach the hell out of that. Obviously, I preach the hell out of that as well, right? Good mental health is amazing. It's awesome. I almost put it over physical health, but at the same time, don't neglect your physical health.
Yeah.
Because that at the end of the day will also cut your life short.
Yeah.
And there's nothing a happy mind can do about that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Facts. Well, with that, my brother, I want to just say thank you for coming on Joel's Mind. I appreciate you for, just doing everything you're doing. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I'll say it right now. I'm surrounded by greatness. And my brother, you were one of the greats that I am surrounded by. So thank you for helping me be a better version of myself. You've inspired me indefinitely, bro. And, I'm excited to follow your journey and continue to be with you every step of the way. And since we're on the record, I just want to let people know out there I am Daniel's #1 fan. And any other fans out there that want to take that title, you can fight me for it. I'm willing to do that. But with that, my final question for you, Daniel, what does it mean in Uniquesterr's mind to be a better version of you?
Oh, man. That's such a broad question, man.
It's a good question.
There's so much aspects of
Yeah.
becoming a better version of yourself, man. But listen, God put you on this planet, or whatever you believe in. You were put on this planet to be more than you actually think. You're capable of a lot more than you think. So get after it, man. Hit your genetic potential. Work hard for it. Strive for something. Always look on how you can become 1% better every single day, right? And becoming a better version of yourself is something that I closely relate to, because it's something I kind of push towards my audience as well, man. And so whether, like I said, leveled up shredding, always find a way to level up. That's the way I look at becoming a better version of yourself. It's leveling up and maxing out your genetic potential, whether that's your physique, your mind, everything, man. Just get after it. Always find something to do. Always find a way to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because that's where you grow. That's where you become the best version of yourself, and continue to strive towards that, man.
Oh yeah, I like that. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I know the listeners listening right now have gained a lot of value from this conversation. I gain a lot of value from this, even though you're my boy and we talk almost every other day. So,
Thanks.
Just to let you know, that just shows how much value you bring to the table. So I just want to say thank you again, bro. Where can we find you at? If we want to follow Daniel, where do we do to do that?
So my name is pretty much the same for all my platforms. I'm keeping it. And I don't know when I'll change, but it is Uniquesterr. So Uniquesterr with 2 R's at the end, STERR. It's going to be the same for YouTube. It's going to be the same for Instagram. It's going to be the same for TikTok. Follow me on all those platforms. It's going to be the same for Twitter, but I hardly tweet. Yeah. It's going to be the same for all of those platforms. So you can go ahead and follow my journey there. If you enjoy anything I said here today, I was going to say make sure to drop a like and hit the subscribe button, but I forgot I'm not actually on my channel. But
you can
do that too. Go to my channel, show the channel some love, show my page some love on TikTok, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, drop likes on my videos, hit the post notification so you're notified every time I drop a new video. Like I said, I'm very active on TikTok. I try to be more active on Instagram as well, so you can follow me on there. Joe, thank you, brother, for providing this platform, not just for me, but for everybody out there that wants to speak their mind, and for everybody that also strives for your same mission, man, for your same goal. It's something I commend. It's something I appreciate. Something I closely relate to, becoming a better version of yourself. And, yeah, man, I think this is something special, and I can see it blowing up in the future. So keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep this up. Don't let the foot off the gas, and keep pushing forward, bro. Thank you for having me on this, man. I really do appreciate it. And thank you guys for listening. Super appreciate y'all, man, for real.
Absolutely. Well, you heard it here first from Uniquesterr. Drop a like, drop a comment, smash the subscribe button if you like what you're hearing. I'm going to tag them down below in the descriptions and the podcast links, and follow my boy.